What's good, man? It's your boy Juicy J, man. Shout out to Virtual Homework Podcast.
Didn't you exclusively tell me, like, Dana, stop screaming into the mic as soon as we start podcasting because it's going to turn people off?
Yeah,
and then
actually, that was the most obnoxious thing I've ever done in my life. Oh my god. Welcome to the podcast, episode 55. Remember 55? Sorry, 55.
Well, my girlfriend's age, 55. 50.
Yeah, this is an episode entirely dedicated to that. I actually didn't play a game this week because I only watched that video. And that's all the content I'm going in this week with. I watched 55 again.
37 half. What you say?
I
love that song.
Do you think Albino Black Sheep still exists? Like, do you think the website's still
there?
It
does. It does. It's like where I saw Badger. Albino.
Well, that's Weeble stuff, I thought.
No, that was on. That was originally on Albino Black Sheep. Let's see Flash videos. Let's see.
Can I like actually watch anything on Albino Flash or Albino Flash?
Yeah, I mean, this is where like Brad. This is where Brad Neely came from.
No, I understand. A lot of people came from Albino Black Sheep, but I'm just saying, like, wasn't everything Flash? Did they like convert every single video to HTML5? Could I watch 55 if I wanted to? I should already know the answer, considering I watched it this week. That's the one thing I said I did.
I'm not sure. I'm trying to think of like stuff that's on here that I remember.
Want to know what I remembered though? Or I guess didn't remember until now. Welcome to the Virtual Homework Podcast. I'm Sam.
We are a video game podcast.
We are a video game podcast trying to find out if we could still watch 55 on Albino Black Sheep.
Yeah, I like the three Zoomers that are watching our podcast. Like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? Listen,
55
you don't understand.
Was like the first good Flash video I saw, I think.
I'm trying to think of like, but I used to get really, there used to be stickfiguredeaththeater.com, which is, we used to go to in 6th grade in like the fucking, in the library at school, and it would be like
I
stick
love
figures.
These. I do really miss like these hyper specific like websites dedicated to like weird things. Like Homestar Runner was like a little less specific, but
yeah, like, it was literally Flash videos.
.com.
It was literally just stick figures like killing each other, like the stick figure death theater.
I remember there was that like one Newgrounds video where it was like the computer wars, where it was like a stick figure inside the computer like fighting everything. I think that's a little different. I mean, like, why do I feel like
Newgrounds is actually like having a huge resurgence in like Zoomers and stuff like that, with things like Friday Night Freakin', which came from there. It like put a whole bunch of traffic to that website, and it's like a whole new generation of kids are just watching videos. Like, it has huge like feedback as like a giant website. I thought it was dead, but it's thriving,
I knew
awesome.
That it was like coming back a little bit, just because I think that just due to the popularity from game developers like coming from Newgrounds, like there's always going to be a little bit like Newgrounds. Also was just like you had E-Bombs World, you had Newgrounds, you had Albino Black Sheep, but like the only one that actually had like a solid community behind it was Newgrounds. So I think that because of that, it always had like the better opportunity to stay relevant. But what did we play this week?
Yeah, speaking of relevant games, I actually chose this because not only was it a new thing, I wanted to play it before I saw it everywhere and it had it spoiled to me because it's something that I generally love. We played Resident Evil 8, which is the part 2 to Resident Evil 7. I'm not sure if you saw or played that one.
I did not even know that this was Resident Evil 8. I actually didn't know it had a name other than Resident Evil Village. Actually, I got this on Steam. You got this on Steam too, right?
Yep.
It came with like a free game. Did you play that at all? I know the podcast isn't on Resident Evil Village.
It comes with Resident Evil 7.
Oh, really? That's what it is? Okay. Well, and what is that one called? Like, it's not 7, it's like Reverse or something.
Resident Evil Biohazard or something like that. Maybe it came with like some other like game mode or some shit. I'm not sure.
Resident Evil Reverse is literally. Oh, okay. It doesn't exist yet. Okay. I have no idea what I'm talking about, but. Yeah, what? I remember that like I got it on Steam and like it came with this other game. Like I don't remember getting a bundle, but here we are. But anyway, yeah, we played Resident Evil Village.
There were like speaking of bundles, there were like 70 different bundles for this game. It was like trying to figure out, do I want the deluxe? Do I want like the super deluxe, spooky deluxe? Like
I initially didn't even. I thought like, you know how I've had that rant like every single episode, like video games are too cheap. As a software developer, I can't believe these games are still $60. I thought I was about to eat my words when I saw that like Resident Evil was $90, but it turns out apparently I've had like settings where like mature games don't display on Steam for like literally my entire life. So like the only way I could even find the game was to find like a bundle that was $90. I was like, why the hell is this game so expensive? But no, thank you for picking Resident Evil Village, because apparently like 90% of the Steam library has been blocked.
So you've just been seeing like baby dick games? That's like it?
Did you just say baby dick games?
Like baby games, like
I don't
games.
I don't think any platform is going to have those. Okay, let me just say.
Okay, move on.
Move on. Yes.
We played Resident Evil 8. Like I said, it's the part 2 to Resident Evil 7. This follows the events of Resident Evil 7. You play as Ethan Walker, I think his name is Ethan White, something shit like that. Where from the first game he has to travel to the bayous of fucking Louisiana or some shit, I think, to save his wife from like these crazed people who are infected by a mold, which was, I believe, given to the area by some ship crashing, which is done through the Umbrella Corporation. Fast forward multiple years later, his wife had a child, and that child is still infected by that virus, and the Umbrella Corporation kills his wife and steals the baby.
Massive spoilers, but honestly, I feel like everyone knows this.
This is like in the first 4 seconds of the game.
Like 30 seconds of the game. I was like thinking it'd be really funny if like I only played like before that cutscene, and I'm just like, oh yeah, this is a weird game. It's just like about chilling in a house, putting your baby to sleep.
Yeah,
really
and then
scary.
So Umbrella Corporation busts in, steals your baby, and kills your wife. And then you wake up on the side of a village in the middle of Eastern Europe where everyone speaks English, or maybe it's Seattle, one of the two. And you find yourself on this village where shit is going fucking wrong. There's
got some like
bodies everywhere,
people.
Werewolf people. There's goat heads and blood, and you need to fight your way to survive through the wilds of this village to find your child.
Yeah.
How much of this game did you play?
I played roughly. I didn't play that much. Honestly, I had a very busy week for personal reasons. Let's just say that. Don't pry into my life. I'm my own person. I'm allowed to do things other than this podcast, and I'm sorry that you are nosy trying to get all these
fucking
details.
Christ, I didn't ask any of
life.
this. I was just like, hey man, did you have a good time? How much did you play this game? Like,
don't come at me with these accusatory questions like how much did you play this week? Don't come at me saying, oh, I don't think my co-host on this podcast played as much as me. I know what you're trying to get at, okay, I know you're gonna be like, oh, Sam, you only played 4 hours of this game, 4 to 5 hours of this game. I played 85. Whoa, you must really not care about this podcast. No, I played about 5 hours of this game. I'm sorry, I can't scare you that much. You're like scared about actual like legitimate anger coming through. Yeah, but no, I had a busy week, so I got to the big part of this game, the thing that people actually know about this game, I feel, was the demo was released a bit ago, and like the internet got really horny because there was this like really big woman,
the big mommy,
yeah,
goth GF. I mean, I wanted to sit on me.
Yeah, it was like either sit on you or step on you, whatever like the scenario was, but. She is in this mansion, which I think that I don't know what percent of the game takes place there. I know that like you do actually go outside and like there's interactions in this giant mansion and interactions in the actual village itself. I got into the mansion and I killed what I think was the first quote unquote main boss, but that's really as far as I got. I honestly so I recognize the merits of this game and I think it is a fun game for what it is, but I'm just not a horror fan. I'm not a horror fan. I'm also not like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like I guess this is like survivalist horror, but like this game is a lot of trial and error. It's like, oh, you're in a room. It's like, oh, how I got to find a way to escape this room. I'm also not a fan of like escape rooms in real life. So like those 4 to 5 hours for me, like it wasn't that I wasn't enjoying it, but like it took a lot out of me to get through it because I'm like, this is just not up my alley.
Do you think you felt that way because you were pressured to get as much out of the game as you could? You couldn't just sit and enjoy it because of everything else going on?
If I'm being honest, I would have never picked this game, or I would have never played this game if it wasn't for the podcast. So like I don't think it was like me feeling pressured to get like through as much of the game as possible. It's just like legitimately like when I play things out of my element, like it's not that it like feels like more work, but it just like it's more I can't like do longer sittings unless I get like really really into it. But then in that point, is it really something out of my element? Because like if I really am engrossed, then it's like it's now my element.
I guess I see the opposite of this game. I played about 10 half hours. I'm on the second to last part of the game.
How long is
the
this game? This seems pretty short if you're on the second to last part.
It's like if you go super fucking fast through it, it's about a 10-hour gameplay. Me, I'm doing like all the extra side shit. I'm like getting all the treasures. This game has so much exploration in it, whether it's like extra weapons, you can upgrade weapons, stuff like that. We didn't even go into like the basic gameplay. The concept of the game is basically almost like a third-person shooter, first-person shooter, where you're fighting through hordes of monsters and enemies and solving puzzles in castles, manors, swamps, docks, things like that. It's called Resident Evil Village, but most of the game is not in the actual village. It's like in the castle and surrounding areas. Like right now I'm in a giant factory, which is pretty fucking intense. Yeah, I mean, if you've ever played like Resident Evil 4, it's very reminiscent.
I hear it's like a remake basically of Resident Evil 4, just like a remake of the gameplay, not the actual like plot and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's basically what 7 was as well. Resident Evil 4 is considered one of the best games of all time to many, many people. I would agree. It's a game I've beaten multiple times.
Resident Evil 6 is considered like one of the worst games of all time, right?
Correct, because what happened is after Resident Evil 4 was the first game in the series to have like that like almost like first-person shooter aspect of it on top of the survival horror, and it did it very, very well. And then 5 and 6 kind of took the survival horror out of it and just turned it into like Call of Duty, like shooting through hordes of shit, which is very fucking awful. And then 7 is the first game that brought back to its horror roots and really fun, good gameplay with like, puzzle solving and all that kind of stuff. So, but with 8 here, it's just the expansion on a lot of that. It's less scary than 7.
Yeah,
7
you've mentioned horror like a lot. Like honestly, like yeah, this is definitely a horror game, but it wasn't that scary of a game from what I played.
Dude, there's some fucking scary parts later in the game. Like there's this part. Did you get to the part with like the blood water?
I have not. No.
That part scared the shit out of me. There's a part with puppets that scared the shit out of me.
I hear this game isn't that scary, but like the parts that are scary are some of the scariest in the series.
Yeah, absolutely. I really would like you to play more of this game because I think there are a lot of really good aspects of this game, like later on. Like me, I really want to beat this. I love this game. Like this game is like a 9 out of 10 for me personally. And I'm not even like a huge survival horror buff. I just want to play this game. It's very, very fun. I love upgrading the weapons. I love, searching all these cool areas. I love going back and be like, oh, now I have this item. I can go search through here. What's in here? Oh, holy shit, this is an unexplored cavern. Oh shit, what the fuck's that? Like that's very fun to me.
I mean, like I'm not gonna say I didn't like this game. Like I think this game is fun. I think it's a good game. But maybe like the way I play this game and the way I like view the horror genre, like I'm setting myself up for failure because like I was like scared about getting scared, if that makes sense. Like the anticipation.
That's how I was for like the first like 4 hours of the game, and then I realized, it's not that scary, and you just play through it.
Yeah, but because of that, like I was playing with all the lights on and windowed mode, just like making sure that like I didn't like maybe I like didn't let myself get into the element enough for the game, but like I still enjoyed it. Like I guess I just didn't play enough.
Yeah, I would genuinely think I don't think you played enough of the game, but like I went into it like because I was recording. I recorded and streamed my entire gameplay of it. You're gonna see if you ever watch my VOD. I'm like fucking shitting my pants for like the first like 4 hours, and then I get used to the experience of the game and understanding how it paces the horror. It is like the tension is very, very huge on like the very first part of the game. Where you're trying to understand the world and how everything works, and it's very front loaded on that, and then it quickly goes away and turns into more of like an adventure shooter puzzle type game later on. That's less scary than anything.
Okay,
with like certain.
I think the fact that the game is relatively short, like first of all, this game like it's like every other AAA game, like it tries to make it worth its money and has like a really ambitious map. Like this game is like almost overwhelming to explore when you first start, considering how large this mansion is and all these places and stuff that you go to. Like I was from there like a little bit worried that like I was like trying to like get like a 30 to 50 hour experience like condensed into like a 4-hour experience for this podcast. But if you're telling me this game is only like 10 to 15 hours, like maybe I will actually go ahead and
it's really not bad. Like
game.
I'm like 90% of the way done with it, and that's with me going back and getting like all the extra shit, like getting all the extra weapons, like farming monies, like stuff like that. I'm a huge like, oh wait, I have this item, I can go all the way back to the beginning of the game and like look for shit type guy. One thing that's cool about this game is if you look at your map, you're given a map for every area, and there's 2 colors for any place you go. There's blue and red. Red means there's still shit you can look for or find in that area, and blue means you never have to go back there again. So it's like, oh, there's
like
a secret there. Yeah, exactly. Like I really genuinely like that, because there's nothing worse than being like, oh, I forgot this thing, or not knowing what you forgot. I like the concept.
I think it's less bad in that, like, knowing you forgot something, but it's like you can't go back is like, that's better than just the not knowing what you don't know. It's like, did I get everything in this room? Like spending like an hour and like not finding anything. It's like, I'm not sure if I just didn't look hard enough, or like it actually just isn't there.
Or like you just look and then, okay, I just grabbed this thing. All right, it's blue. Okay, I can move on.
Yeah, there we go.
We're both like the type of people that like need to search every fucking corner to fucking find.
Yeah,
shit,
exactly.
so.
And that's why, like, when I was going through the mansion, I'm like, oh god, every single one of these doors has like multiple rooms behind it. Oh shit. But I mean, like, I think I will go back to it. Like, if it's not obvious by the fact that like I have this weird camera setup where I'm like basically like looking under my nostrils here.
It's not too bad. I'm actually like, at first I was like making fun of it, but your setup's not too bad.
Yeah, no, what I'm trying to say is that like I have a very like I'm no longer in the gaming corner, because like I legitimately like almost broke my spine trying to edit last week's podcast. I'm like hunched over like on this like 1 foot.
You look a lot more comfortable.
Yeah, I have like some resemblance of my setup back. So like I had a busy week last week, and I think maybe that was one of the reasons. Like sometimes just timing isn't perfect, and I didn't get to play as much of the game as I wanted to.
I really do want you to play this. Like this is like we played a lot of games where we didn't play enough as we wanted to. This is what I genuinely think you would have fun with like later on in the game. Maybe if we play like a shorter game next week, because like basically after this podcast, I'm going to turn on my stream. I'm going to be playing Resident Evil until I beat it.
Well, I'm going to not play this. I'm going to only play Resident Evil Reverse, which I think I remember now. It's like legitimately, I think it's Battle Royale or something. It's like 1v1 shooting in like a arena of 6. That's what I like in Resident Evil, right? No, who cares about the actual plot of Resident Evil? It's all about the multiplayer shooting.
I actually do like this story. I think it's really fucking cool. I really love the villains. They're almost cartoony, but I kind of like that because they're spooky, but I guess like campy enough that you find them endearing. I don't know how to explain it.
No, that was a joke, because I don't actually. I definitely don't give a shit about like online multiplayer shooters. But like I'm curious, what do you think is the best Resident Evil to get into for a beginner? Like, is this game? I mean, this game is beginner friendly in that like it actually doesn't expect a lot of people to play Resident Evil 7. Like, there's like a cutscene in the beginning to like recap the entire Resident Evil 7 game. Did you play Resident Evil 7? I forget if you said you did.
I did not. I watched multiple people play full playthroughs of it.
Okay, but like, what would you say is like the most beginner friendly Resident Evil? Because you've played the series before. I feel like
I've played 1. I've played 2. I haven't played 3. I've seen it though. Code Veronica X is definitely my favorite one.
Favorite's not best for beginners though. Like
no.
Someone who's new to the series, would you just say play the newest one?
I would say start with 7 and then go to 8. Like they're both fantastic, if not some of the best games in the series in the modern era, because you have to put them in the era that they were in.
Yeah, the first one has tank controls, right?
The first, 3 have tank controls, and then 4 is the first one that doesn't have tank controls. I would say play 7 and then play 8, and then go back to, the remaster of, 1 and 2, and 3 that they recently redid, because they're really good. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think they have the remasters they recently came out with for 2 or whatever don't have tank controls.
I think that would make sense, because that's a huge turnoff for a lot of people, just not being able to run
Let
and shoot.
me tell you though, it was part of the terror back in the day, playing these games with the tank controls,
just not being able to move.
Well, it's just it's fucking terrifying when you're in this room with these monsters and it's you can't move around, and it's you have low ammo, okay, you have low health, it's fuck, it put a sense of fear in your everything, those controls. So
that's also the way I play shooters, I'm absolute Leroy Jenkins, just going in guns blazing, and this game is literally the opposite. You have to every single item has to be carefully managed until or otherwise like you'll die like super far down the road. I also like I know there's an autosave feature, but I can never actually like see when I was autosaving. I'm like, where's the goddamn typewriter? Because that's what they use to manually save in this game. It's a pretty long time between saves.
Did you play on controller or
I played on
mouse?
keyboard, which I feel like maybe was a mistake, but I thought the keyboard controls were fine.
No. So I have been playing exclusively on keyboard up until like the last 5 minutes I played the game, in which I was like, I'll try out keyboard for a second. Keyboard is so much better because the thing with mouse is like you can barely aim to like shoot the enemies, and you're like constantly missing and stuff like that. Versus keyboard, you just like aim, especially if you have any like first person shooter experience. So much better.
I think that like games with I mean like I wouldn't say Death Stranding has like is really like, I think you can use, no, I guess there aren't guns. They have that weird like games that are $60 that like are built for like PC optimization are legitimately better, I think, on keyboard controls than like
don't get me wrong, I'm probably
gamepad.
still gonna play it on controller because I just like chilling back and playing. It's really fun. But like as far as like aiming to get like super like headshots on every fucking enemy, you like I play a lot of Counter-Strike, so I can just like bah, 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 on mouse and keyboard with it. But I'm having fun on mouse. Okay. On controller. I was gonna say, do you think you're actually gonna play more of this game, or are you just kind of like, I
said I was gonna play more Shadow Complex, but I mean, like, I also just like didn't have time for gaming last week, so that was like kind of a me problem. I wanted to play this with my girlfriend because she likes horror stuff, but so maybe I'll try to go back and play it with her.
Yeah, I think you both would enjoy the experience. Like, I like sit on a couch. Like, do you only have this on because you can just bring your PC and just hook it up to a TV or something, right?
No, I can't. That would be really annoying actually to do. So I would have an extra desk in this, or an extra seat in this room to go on the desk. But it'll work out. Don't worry about me here. I'll try to play more of this game because so we could. Then we'll have a episode 2 for this. We won't play a new game next week. Just this one. That's how it works. No, I feel like we did that. We did that for what, like what was 999? We like the next episode we talked more about 999 than the actual game. I forget what game we played that week. But no, what I wonder if I was like really like set up to fail here if this was my first game. You're saying that this is a relatively good one to start with, but like
I would say start with 7 then 8, but like
this far as someone that bad to start with.
No, this is like a fantastic game in the series to start with.
But maybe I was set up to fail because I had when I was a line cook at my university, I had a knife incident where I cut off part of my thumb, and it grew back. I'm not like amputated, but this game is a little heavy on the arm pain.
This guy like cuts his fingers off, like, and it's like like it's like all in your face and shit. Well, like, this game is very gory.
Yeah, someone made a good point that since this is first person, like the only thing you see are hands. So like literally hand mutilation is how 90% of this game works. Like
it's like losing fingers, like your hand gets cut off, like
your hand goes in a hook. Like it's like, okay, they really don't like this guy's hand.
I think I've had this conversation before. It's like, as far as graphics getting better and better, I don't like hyper realistic graphics, to be honest.
Yeah, you were talking about Mortal Kombat, how like it's just like, yep, you could like just see like the animated entrails coming out. It's like, oh, I could see the food that was in that guy's intestine that you just ripped out,
like exploding. Like it's just like too real. Like this game, it looks realistic, but there's like an artistic style to it. I feel like versus like going true like real to life. I don't know how to say it. So I guess it doesn't look too bad, mostly because all the zombies look like Chief Keef, but that's just...
Laughing to the Bank by Chief Keef is now like a trend on TikTok, and I'm happy about that, because that was one of the more underrated Chief Keef songs. I know that this is still a Resident Evil conversation.
Real talk, but... I know this has nothing to do with Resident Evil, but like Zoomers are getting into like really, really cool like shit. Like they're getting into like Newgrounds, like they're looking into like all sorts of like old school rappers, like they like 3 6 Mafia, Chief Keef.
They literally made a new genre of music based on the beats from like old school 3 6 Mafia. I think it's called Memphis Donk or whatever.
Yeah. Which I think that's super, super cool that they're appreciating. This is definitely a generation of people I see appreciating older stuff versus just liking the new.
I mean, if I'm being honest, like I'm way more into 3 6 Mafia now than I was in like 2006 when like they were more relevant. But,
absolutely.
Like, I mean, I was still... So the thing is, like, I like 3 6 Mafia without knowing I was into 3 6 Mafia, because, like, I really like Still Stay Fly, and I really like Pop My Collar, but, like, that was, like, bar mitzvah music. Like, I was not, like going to
You're, like, at the bar mitzvah, like...
I've talked about this before. Like, young jock is going down. I'm doing the dance. Literally have no idea what the lyrics mean. But yeah, they're playing "Poppin' My Collar." I'm popping my collar on the dance floor in 7th grade. Like, yeah, that's that bar mitzvah bop. When 3-6 made "Sippin' on Some Scissor," they're like, we're gonna get so much bar mitzvah play on this song. He doesn't want to talk about this. He's like, you're insulting.
I was just stretching. Like, no, I appreciate.
He doesn't want to be associated with bar mitzvah talk and
bar
3-6.
mitzvah bop. It sounds like kids bop, but like for bar mitzvahs, and it's 3-6 Mafia.
If we're talking about actual bar mitzvah bops, like there's like a techno remix of Hava Nagila, and it's like bum, 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 and like it's absolutely intense. Like I remember like I got a DJ to play the Hava Nagila techno remix at like a bar mitzvah, and that shit, like the whole room went insane. Like, even though the parents, because it was a Jewish
I know that exact song where it's like how and it gets like super fucking like intense. That was actually we were talking about MySpace earlier. That was actually or maybe we're talking about later. I don't know.
Inception time.
Inception. That was actually this is actually horrible. Do you remember the show? You've never seen the show Wonder Chosen, did you?
No.
Well, there's like an episode where like a child dresses up like a Nazi. So that was him dancing was the background of my MySpace, and it was like flashing like strobe light rainbow colors, and that song was like ear rape version playing on my MySpace.
I mean, Hoytus Montag was like also a meme back then, so it's okay. I forgive you. The whole internet probably doesn't forgive you, but I forgive you. You don't forgive yourself?
I don't.
Because
it's like
I'm Jewish. I'm allowed to forgive you, so get forgiven.
Well, it's like I think about like all the edgy humor I used to have, and it's just like I understood the humor behind it, and I wasn't like actually those things, but like now I realize like wow, I was actually enabling people to take those things and like weaponize it and like actually mean it. So I just try not to be like that anymore.
Well, I mean, if we're getting back on topic on Resident Evil, if we're getting back on Resident Evil, you play the Hava Nagila techno bop, and then like that chair dance they do.
Yeah,
just go straight up through the roof. That's how amped they get. This is definitely on topic for Resident Evil. I mean, I guess final thoughts. I feel like I've apologized for not playing this game enough, more than I've actually talked about my experience with the game. But like, I think that if this is what you are into, this is an amazingly well produced game. But it's too much hand mutilation out of 10.
It's a beautiful game. I personally think the gameplay is very fun. I like a lot of the puzzles. They feel super satisfying. Like later in the game, there's a really cool puzzle where it's like you have to get these torches on fire, but then there's a torch in the other room, and there's an infinitely spawning zombie that so you get him on fire, and then you have to like shoot him and get him to like come over to the torch in the other room to light the torch to open the door, and that's like a really cool puzzle and things like that. So
okay, I mean, like, I think that if you are a big fan of Resident Evil Village, which I mean honestly, like, I feel like you would have to be insane to go into like a video game podcast of any type that's like talking about Resident Evil Village without like expecting massive spoilers. So like people who are listening to this have probably already like played Resident Evil Village.
I don't think we've spoiled very much. I spoiled like the first like 30 seconds of the game.
I'm not even talking like whether or not we did have spoilers, but like imagine going into like a video game like podcast or video game review show, like talking about a new game and like expecting like the sanctity of the game to be preserved. What I'm trying to say is like people listening to this have probably already played Resident Evil Village. So if you want to see more Resident Evil Village, make sure to tune into twitch.tv/Sphinctus. I will probably link it on Twitter or something when this episode comes out. And watch him get scared. Watch him poop his pants live on stream.
I will shit for your entertainment.
Yeah, I mean that it's not. It doesn't have to be a horror game.
Okay, that doesn't sound right.
On Twitch,
OnlyFans.com/virtual home.
Do they allow that on that way? I don't.
Patreon exclusive content.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't know what websites allow for shitting, but.
Can I make that like a Patreon goal? Like I would just shit for you.
The only Patreon we make a Patreon specifically for that. No tiers except for like the $7,000 a month. But I mean, even YouTube allow us for shitting because like you remember sitting on a toilet. That was like the big meme.
Sitting on a toilet. No,
yeah, exactly.
Was she actually shitting though? Like you don't know.
But the thing is, like I feel like it being
I'm
ambiguous.
talking about like shit coming out of my ass, like.
That was an E-bombs. Do you remember there was like a video where like a guy like shits from like 10 feet up and like tries to get in a toilet? Classic internet. Classic internet.
Speaking of classic internet, do you want to actually talk about the other shit? I don't really want to fucking talk about Dream or other bullshit.
No, I like the only thing I was gonna say about Dream is that like I was over it last week and I've moved on with my life because he has an insatiable army of children. The whole thing about the Dream situation, though, people are like legitimate. I don't know what people's end goals are for this. Like people legitimately want him to not have a career after this. It's like,
it's like what are you gonna do? It's like what do we want? You know, it's like, do we want to end his career? Do we want him to apologize? It doesn't matter. 'Cause at the end of the day, all his fans are gonna think what they think. So like, it doesn't matter.
The one thing that I really hate from the fans, because like it is such a good point, but like it's just like a way to dismiss the conversation. It was just cheating in Minecraft, bro. Like it's like they use that as like just moving on, and like I understand it's more serious than that, but like at the end of the day, like it is just cheating in Minecraft. Like he's not gonna go to prison for it. Like
no,
we just
for me
want
it had nothing to do with the cheating though. It was like all the people that he like weaponized, like millions of people against.
No, I think that he had shitty behavior. I just hope I just really hope the situation, like the consequence being people see that he's like a really like shitty person in that regard and just being turned off to watching his content. I don't think
the people that think he's shitty and stuff like that don't watch his content anyways. It doesn't matter.
That's the problem. I just like, it's just frustrating because there's going to be literally no consequences from this, I think. But yeah. That's it.
No, I kind of want to play Hover Racing now.
Hover Racing is just a dope game.
Well, it's very much a game that like feels really good to like improve at, like your mechanics as far as like how the ships move and everything. Like
it's simple to learn, hard to master.
I mean, it feels very good to have the world record.
Look at you.
I miss that game.
You could play it.
What other runs do I have submitted?
And Roller Coaster Tycoon.
I have second place on.
What a shitty speed run. I'm sorry to say. Sorry to anti-shoutouts the Roller Coaster Tycoon speedrunning community, because I love Roller Coaster Tycoon. But like even as a concept, that speedrun is flawed.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's like, why would they do it the way they do it? Like I guess like, so for those who don't know, like Roller Coaster Tycoon, the way it works is that like basically once you meet the criteria for a map, that the speedrun ends. Even if it's like, keep a 780 park rating for 2 years, like as soon as you get a 780 rating, the speedrun ends, right?
Well, it's the thing is that in previous versions of the game, like your runs would literally be like 4 hours long because of like how long in-game time would take. But like with the new version of the game, you can like speed up time to make it like 5-6 minutes. Because I mean, there's genuine strategy to like doing something to like keep it up,
like maintain it, because like that's the thing, like with all the simulation games, it's like it's kind of easy to get there because you just basically like blow all your money on like advertising campaigns, and then like you basically go broke and everyone dies or leaves. So I mean, like I just feel like Roller Coaster Tycoon and like other games have to realize that like certain categories are just not going to happen. Like you don't have to every single level. Like
I feel like I had a genuine argument from when I was doing it.
Well, I mean, we'll get into that in a second, but like I'm just thinking like you don't have to speedrun every level, especially the ones that are like after however many years. I mean, I feel like that's most of them, and then maybe that's the problem. But like there are like ones that are like reach a certain population, or just one by a certain amount of time. In that case, you just the first one to get that population, or it's like build 10 coasters with this rating. Like those would be kind of interesting speedruns, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm so over that game now, just because the whole game just rubbed me wrong.
Yeah, it's so easy to like be welcoming in a speedrunning community, and like it's like so path of least resistance. There's so many things you could speedrun, and like sure, people have interests, and like sometimes those interests are only like met by certain speedruns. Like Roller Coaster Tycoon 1 is a pretty niche speed game, but like if someone's gonna be a dick to you in a smaller community, it's like, okay, I'll just go somewhere else, and like I feel like that's exactly the situation here.
Yeah, it's like going into like a small streamer and then like making a joke that's like, you know, like you're not realizing it's something that's like a problem, and the streamer's like, why the fuck would you say that? Like, how do I even respond to that? Like, you're a fucking idiot. And then everyone in chat is like, you're a fucking idiot. And it's just like,
it's like, oh, I see why you're actually small. Like, I mean,
not only that, it's like, all right, I'll go somewhere else. I'm sorry for trying to participate in this.
I think I remember like I said some like random thing like in a streamer chat, like nothing offensive, like let's it was like something about like, okay, I think it was like something that was like maybe a tiny bit taboo. Like it was like someone followed that like I knew in like a smaller chat, just because the speedrun is like, or the speedrunning community is relatively small, but it was like something random. It was like, oh hey, I know that person. I probably shouldn't have called them out, but like my one comment, like it was the only message in chat for like an hour. It went into like I like left, and like half an hour later the guy's still talking about like, oh, you shouldn't, I'm not one of these people who actually like thanks followers in chat, because I like, it's like, really, like my comment made you so uncomfortable that like your entire stream is now dictated to this. It's like, I'm sorry, man. I'll just never come back, because apparently I rubbed you so wrong.
Yeah, I just think people I mean, with anything, there's huge like nerd gating issues. I even see it like all the time at like game stores and stuff like that, and people were like, all right, well, you're going to be playing by yourself eventually if you're not as welcoming as possible. It's like people who don't want, like, oh, these new people, they're doing it wrong. They're doing like it's like,
yeah, I think we talked about how smaller communities kind of don't want growth, because it just means things are changing and they don't want things to go mainstream.
yeah, it's like you should be as inclusive as fucking possible, and like do everything in your power to get more people to enjoy your super cool thing that you like. So
yeah, board games are dope though.
board games are dope. Nerds are just fucking gatekeeping. Nerds are the worst though. Like they're worse than like anything, to be honest. Look at Mao and Doodles just chilling.
What if like Doodles attacked the Mao, like scratched at it?
That would be content.
I guess, but like, do you think that Doodles is communist?
I mean, that's actually a deep fucking question. You gotta think, like, what kind of beliefs does like an animal have? Like, are they capable of having like
Political opinions? No, they're
How do you know?
animals. Because they're animals.
But like animals have like social hierarchy and stuff like that. Like,
I guess.
as far
And I mean, like, there are some like there's those like, you know, those like monkeys in Japan that like have the hot tubs.
yeah,
Yeah, like
only like the ones with like the biggest testicles or something can go in them or some shit, right?
yeah, that's like totally like, you know, that's a capitalist structure. It's like the fat cats, or I guess in this case fat monkeys at the top. They are the ones that are able to use the hot tub, and like got all these worker bees doing everything for them so they could get like a tiny little taste of.
Yeah.
Cats kind of have this like lone wolf structure. I don't really know. It's kind of, they're very laissez-faire. Like they're like also capitalist, but in a different way. They're just every cat for themselves, right?
Yeah, dude. I have Mao.
You have Mao in the back. I don't know.
Can I actually ask you something? I was thinking this while I was driving home. Let's see if I can find this real quick. You ever see those signs that are like, this is a neighborhood watch community?
Yeah.
Like, and it has that dude on it.
It has the dude looking all like he's from
Like,
that one game, like Nightcrawler or whatever on the NES.
Dude, he looks
Nightshade.
cool.
He does look. No, but I think that dude is the guy. He's the guy, like, he's not the criminal. He's the guy who's going to beat up the criminal. That's the Batman man.
But then why is it like, they're always like crossing
no, it's like,
him
yeah,
out?
no, it's like no to that guy. So never mind. I don't know. There's like also like a Homestar Runner bit about this. Cause,
is there really?
Yeah, because like on the, you sent me a couple, the middle one, like the way that his cloak works, it like almost makes a mouth to the right. And you're like thinking like he's just like,
yeah, it's like rah, rah, rah.
Yeah, he kind of looks like Homestar Runner in a top hat.
Dude, like, look at this guy. This guy's a fucking like menace. He's like taking over this town.
Oh my god, that is.
I'm just saying, he looks cool. If
That
I was
like
a
reminds
child
me
and-
of like the, you know, like that one picture like in the end of Evangelion where it's like Rei Ayanami and she's like huge, like taking over Earth. It's like
That's
the
like
neighborhood watch guy. They gotta make a movie about the neighborhood watch guy. Okay, that's what I want.
I just want
They made
people to.
Did people
like-
forget that they made a movie about Battleship? Like if they could make a movie about Battleship, they could make a movie about fucking neighborhood watchman.
Let me actually tell you something about fucking the Battleship movie. So Hasbro is the worst fucking company in the world. They no longer make regular Battleship anymore. So I work at a game store. I have people come in every fucking day. They're like, "Oh, do you guys have Battleship?" And we're like, "No, we have the electronic version based on the movie because it's all they make anymore." And people are pissed.
Yeah, because I don't know why anyone would like genuinely give a shit about that movie. Why would I want to be emotionally attached to
No.
Battleship? Besides, I don't know, like maybe I had like a memory like, oh, my dad loved playing Battleship with me, and now that he's gone, I have this Battleship board game to preserve his memory.
Well, but,
my
like,
dad's alive,
The
by
regular,
the way, but
the regular game's fine and fun, and people enjoy it. It's just like, why the fuck do people care about like this movie? It has nothing to do with like the game.
no, I don't think people care about the movie in the first place. That's what I'm saying. Like this is like they're trying to force Battleship like the movie on people, and that's just insulting. That's insulting to the world, you know?
No, it's just very awful as far as product goes, and Hasbro's doing a bunch of other shit. They're basically buying out like strategy game companies, and then buying the licenses for board games, relicensing them, and then charging people more for them. And so everyone's favorite board games are no longer available really in stores, only by like Target or Amazon. Like stores like us can't get them anymore, and it really sucks and really hurts us.
I went to Target today because I had to get something, and like I did not realize how big the board game selection was at Target. I was actually pretty impressed.
Yeah, Target has a wonderful game selection, and it's killing stores like us.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that. Like, I literally had the thought, like, I've been to like an actual board game shop, and like it's really not that far off. I mean, like it's less than half the stock, but they have pretty much everything you would want as a casual. Like the board game shop really would only cater to what, like people wanting to play like Magic in the back room or Warhammer. Warhammer's like half of every single board game shop store.
No, we don't even do Warhammer. So there's a twofold issue. So for one, the biggest issue is that stores like us and other game stores and stuff like that, we actually teach people how to play games. Like when people come in and they're like, hey, what's a cool game? I like this, I like that. Can you give me some recommendations? It's not something you're going to get at Target. It's not something you're going to get at Amazon. Like, you know, talking about games, have someone teach you to play and whatnot. Because it's not like these games are advertised. You know, you don't see fucking ads for these games anywhere. Like the only place you ever hear about them is through word of mouth, maybe a YouTube video or something like that.
I've seen a couple ads for Cards Against Humanity. Is that still underground? Is that still underground? If do you think if I busted out Cards Against Humanity right now, people would groan and then like leave the room? Like no one wants to play that right now or ever again.
It's still our best selling game.
I'm not surprised about that. I mean, like. The only reason I own Cards Against Humanity is because my mom is like, oh, this would be fun. I know this is the hip new game. I'm like, Mom, this is like 2 years ago. That she got it to me like 2019, 2018. I'm like, this is not hip.
99% of people who buy it, it's like a mom. It's like, oh, my kid brought this over. It was so funny. I'm going to bring it. I'm going to buy it, and we're going to play it every single family get together, and they just never play it. Like, all right, but I hate Cards Against Humanity. I fucking hate it. I mean, that's not a strategy game. That's like a fucking like normal. I'm talking about shit like Settlers of Catan, like Platinum Imperium.
Do you know the game Gloomhaven?
Yeah, that's probably one of our best sellers as far as
I've never played it, but one of my friends has it. It's like I can't even lift it. I'm not like heavy enough. I'm not strong enough. It's like a 70-pound board game.
Gloomhaven is a fucking awesome game because the thing about Gloomhaven is, for one, it's like $140. People are like, holy shit, that's a fucking expensive game. But this box, like you said, is £1 million.
Yeah, it's like probably the best weapon in the card shop store. Maybe.
Well, not only that, it's a fantastic game. It's been top rated on Board Game Geek for like multiple years. The thing about most big ass box games, most of them are big because it comes with like one miniature that's like super fucking big, and that's why the game's expensive. Gloomhaven's expensive because it has like 700 hours of content. That's the
thing. Like even though like we're all excited that we will one day eventually play Gloomhaven, it's like none of us want to actually learn it. It's like this is going to be an intimidating half a day to just like sit down.
It's not. It's so easy to play. It's like there's actually an expansion for it called Jaws of the Lion. The first 3 campaigns are like super introductory. I would suggest almost playing that. Gloomhaven, definitely like a top 5 game for me. Game's fucking awesome. But you can also play the Steam version of it too, and it'll teach you how to play.
Yeah, a lot of I mean, this was happening in like the Xbox 360 era too. I remember like the only time I've ever played Carcassonne and Catan was on the Xbox Live Arcade. Or is it Carcassonne? Carcassonne? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, Carcassonne. That's like it's like people call it French Catan. It's actually not as popular anymore, which really sucks. I think Carcassonne's way better than Catan. I think Catan kind of sucks.
I hated the Xbox Live Arcade version of Catan, but I loved Carcassonne. But I completely threw you off talking about Cards Against Humanity. You were saying that like card shops, like what they actually do. Do you remember this?
We're not talking about Cards Against Humanity though. We're talking about like stuff.
I know, but like I just did a tangent, and you were actually trying to say something like about like Target versus your store.
Well, yeah. But it's like, you know, you come into our store and you're like, hey, what's a cool game? We'll sit down and talk about a game, like show you some games we think are really cool, teach you how to play, whatever. Versus like these gaming companies that are short-sighted, selling for like the lowest common denominator to these companies like Target and Amazon. And I think in 5-6 years they're not going to be selling games because who the fuck is teaching people how to play them or showing them new cool games, you know?
Yeah.
Like, are you going to walk into a Target and like see a fucking $75 board game there and like, oh, I'll try this? Like, no. Like,
I think they had the more expensive ones, but like I don't know, like even the more expensive ones, I feel like part of that is just like them having like an electronic component or something. Like I know that like a lot of board games now have like accompanying apps and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What is your favorite classic board game? I'm not talking like these new ones. Like the ones you would play like in elementary school, maybe middle school.
You may have not heard of it. It's called 13 Dead End Drive.
13 Dead End Drive. I have definitely never heard of this. It looks
It's
a lot
awesome.
like Clue. It looked like Clue mixed with Guess Who?
It's a Clue and Mousetrap kind of. Like you like try to like trap people and like kill them and stuff in like these traps and stuff. It's really fun.
Can we just talk about the fact that Mousetrap is like the most disappointing and like worst board game of all time?
I disagree. The game's fucking awesome.
No,
I just build it.
That's the thing. The actual board game is
Oh, it sucks.
it sucks so bad, and the whole reason you do it is to build the trap, which one only worked like half the time.
Yeah,
and two, do you remember like this was actually maybe it was like just like a weird thief going through like every single game in our shop, but I remember games used to be plagued with missing pieces.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen anymore, which I mean, like, yeah, it was crazy it happened in the first place. Like you almost expected that.
So
like,
you would buy games from a store and then they would be missing pieces.
Yeah, like I remember like multiple people bought Mousetrap and like it didn't come with all the pieces.
So you want to know the super secret about that? It's because the store you probably went to probably got that game from Goodwill and just resealed it and resold it without checking the pieces.
Okay, it's. I guess
that's like
that's like
someone like
stole stuff.
That's like an industry thing that like many stores do.
Well, I mean, like honestly, like my parents told me like I was one of these people who had like missing pieces in my Mousetrap, but like in my Mousetrap, that's a weird ass saying. But yeah, I had missing pieces in my Mousetrap. My parents said they got it new and it's like missing pieces, but I could also totally see them actually going to Goodwill because they didn't because that game was expensive. I remember, I think because
no, it's not even they went to a Goodwill. They could have gone to like
no,
local
I know they could have went
store.
to like a game store as well, but like I could totally see my parents actually also going to a Goodwill and spending like $1 on the game because they're just like, not gonna know.
What's your favorite classic game?
Mastermind. Mastermind's dope.
Yeah, Mastermind's dope. Yeah, we actually sell that. I used to play Mastermind a shit ton when I was a kid. It's something you can't play too many times. I feel like
you crack the code. Like you basically have like a strategy, and then like I barely remember how to play it. I just remember there's the dots and they're coming up, and that's cool. But
you're just given a code.
And then like I guess a follow up. What's your favorite like? Not just all board games, like all the new ones and stuff like that.
Ooh, Betrayal at House on the Haunted Hill. That game is fucking dope.
Betrayal at House on the Haunted Hill. I don't think I know
basically, basically, you play through like a B horror movie. You and your friends show up at a haunted house, and you kind of like build out the tiles for the house, and you explore the place, trying to figure out what the fuck's going on together. You're working together as a group. I play a lot of cooperative games because competitive games make people turn into assholes. And then what happens is based on the circumstances that leads you to it, you have a game-changing event called the haunt. So maybe if you're in a certain room, if you do a certain action, you'll trigger a haunt, and it'll tell you, like, go to this page because you did this thing, and this is the mission you're going to do. For example, the last one I played, it was like, all right, leave the room. Don't tell anybody what the fuck's going on. So I left the room, and it's like, hey, you've been infected as a vampire. You need to get everyone else you're playing the game with to also turn into a vampire without them knowing. And don't tell them what's going on. So then I come back and they're like, hey, so what's the haunt? How's this game changing? I'm just like, don't worry about it. So I started moving my piece around, we start playing the game, looking where we were, move my piece to their piece, and then once I get on top of their tile, I go, hey, come with me to the other room. And then I tell them, hey, like, you're infected as a vampire now. And then we come back, sit on the other side of the table for everyone else. Everyone's like, what the fuck's going on? They figure out in the basement that there's like a stake and a coffin that they can kill us with, which they have to do before we turn them all into vampires, and then everybody loses. So that's a really fun one. Or like another scenario is like the house is, destroying itself. There's one window on the second floor that everyone can get out, and we need to kill, disable, do whatever to be the one person to get out. And it's pretty cool because it's different every time. Sometimes it's cooperative, sometimes every man for themselves, sometimes it's teams, sometimes it's different every game. So it's really fucking fun. I love it. It's one of my favorites.
Tell me if I completely misinterpreted this, but like it almost seems like a werewolf or something like that, but like with a more like actual like plot that you follow. Am I completely wrong?
No, well, I mean that was it's just like there's different like missions. So it's like you work together as a team like to build out like the house to explore it and stuff like that. And then the haunt happens and then you're given like a random, I guess, game mode for like the rest of the game, you know.
So the haunt happens and then it's like Among Us with the sussy. And then you got the imposters, vampires, and then they're sus.
That was just one of like 75 different scenarios. Like another one could be like there's a demon in the basement, and we have to like collect the charms to prevent it from coming out before it comes and like destroys the world.
Sounds
or something
sus.
like that. You're sussy. You're a sussy baka. That's what you are.
That almost sounds like it's a real term. If someone likes like, oh, sussy baka in our language means X, you'd be like, okay, I could believe that.
I want to die.
You want to die? I didn't even get to say my favorite game.
What's that?
It's probably actually I don't play that many board games.
I don't really either. I just sit at work and talk about them.
That's your job. But no, I'm trying to think. Like there's a couple that I actually do like. I remember like my work. Actually, no, my favorite board game. Like I don't know. Like it feels like it like teeters on the realm of like classic board game at this point. I don't know how old it is, but you know Blockus.
Blockus, yeah, it's fucking dope game.
I think it's actually
holy shit.
If it's Blockus, that sucks. Blockus sounds so much cooler. Blockus.
Can I send you a game that you would like if you like Blockus?
Okay.
Like, I'm sending you a game.
Blockus. It sounds way better, right? It's like, oh, let's play some Blockus. No, it's Blockus.
Blockus, it's literally like a top 3 game. I fucking love that game. If you like that, I'm gonna send you a puzzle game. Like, you don't have a choice.
Well, I mean, like, I might own the game, so
you definitely don't have this one.
Can I just say I've never played Blockus Duo. I've only played Blockus, and I'm calling it Blockus, by the way, in protest. I've only played Blockus and Blockus Trigon, but Blockus is so much better than Blockus Trigon. Blockus Trigon is off the rails, okay? We're not...
Never played that one.
It's like basically the triangle version of Blockus. The shapes are too weird.
So I'm going to send you this game called The Genius Square, which is basically that in like a smaller form.
Never heard of it.
Look at Doodles like going up to Mao. He's like he was like straight up praying. Like,
yeah, well, I'm not sure if that was pro or anti Mao, because like that was in Mao's face. I mean, that like, is it dishonorable to go into for a kiss? I mean, like, like if you were talking last week about like meeting
disrespectful to go in for a kiss.
Like you were talking last week about like potentially meeting Xi Jinping. If you're just like, you know what, I'm gonna go for it, and then like you try to kiss him, but like that's like the ultimate sign of affection.
No, what did I say I was gonna do? Like, what if I did this? Would he be upset? Or I don't remember what I was doing.
I think it was just like you acting like an idiot in front of like Xi Jinping, and it was confused.
Well, no, it was like something like specific I was doing, like a certain action.
You expect me to remember a week ago? That's insane.
We were talking about board games.
Yeah, we were talking about board games. I mean, like, I don't know. There's this one like it's not Wingspan. It's about birds though, and they're in like a Japanese Zen garden.
Oh, you know what Wingspan is?
Yeah, I own Wingspan, but I've never actually played it. I know Wingspan has a Steam app.
You own like badass games. Wingspan is fucking awesome.
Yeah, I never played it though. Actually, shout outs to my girlfriend Angela. She got me that for like a birthday or something.
It's a really good game. Or you should check out Forbidden Island or Forbidden Desert. Those are really good games.
Okay. Well, I mean, like, so no. It's Seikatsu. Seikatsu is the bird one I'm talking about. That's a fun one.
Never heard of that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, when I go to a board game shop, I understand that like board games are like 99% like having a cool cover, and then that's why you buy the game. That or like you have friends that play it. So, but like, yeah, I just no research. I'm like, all right, this is the game I'm getting. And I got Seikatsu, and I like it. It's one of those cooperative games that you're talking about. So
yeah, I like cooperative games because sometimes when it's competitive, people get too fucking nerdy about it.
Never mind. This one I'm thinking of is definitely competitive. For some reason, I was confusing because they're both like Japanese like themed. I was thinking of Hanabi, which is another great board game.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But no, Seikatsu I like better than Hanabi.
Or you ever play Suro?
No, but the problem I have with Hanabi is that it's so complicated. It's like impossible to get new people to
that's the problem with some of these games. Like you look at shit like Twilight Imperium. Like that's a Google Twilight Imperium. Just look at that board and tell me how long it takes to learn that game.
I'm googling it. Okay, I mean that looks like Catan. I don't know.
There's like a zillion pieces and it has like an encyclopedia rule book. Like it's pretty intense. Do you know that 99% of people play Monopoly incorrectly?
Well, I was gonna say Monopoly is like just a shit game, and I feel like people actually know that now, but Monopoly sucks. Yeah, well, first of all, like I've seen Sopranos. Okay, I heard their speech about the free parking and how you're the whole when you have money go into a pot, and when you land on free parking and get all the money, that does nothing except elongate the game. It's not an actual rule.
No, you don't. Well, not only that, it's like you're only allowed a certain amount of houses, so it's like the trick to winning.
Oh yeah,
is
there's like a limit total on the houses in the game, not just per person.
So you just do everything impossible to just trade and get as many properties as possible, and just put 4 houses on it, and just get nothing else, and then the game can't progress because no one else can do anything.
I thought like the whole point is that you're also just like not supposed to like do any trades ever. Like it's like to your disadvantage.
Never ever. But it's like people don't know that. It's like you literally just disadvantage yourself by doing it, and just put 4 houses on everything, and just never upgrade and just leave it. And then people are like, "Well, I can't get houses, I can't get hotels, I can't get any income," and you're like, "Okay."
Yeah, okay. I will say though, like watching the like competitive world of Monopoly is fun for like one time, and then it's
that's actually a thing.
Yeah, there's like competitive Monopoly, like they have like a world championship and stuff, and like games are decided within minutes because everyone knows what to do, and like people just give up. Like they give up at like the slightest inconvenience because they know it's like I'm not gonna come back from this. It's over.
They're like wearing jerseys and shit.
Yeah, Monopoly is kind of a crazy game, and if you
Monopoly
aren't
sucks. Monopoly actually is a terrible game. Most traditional board games actually fucking suck.
Yeah, I think that like no one is gonna like play Shoots and Ladders, and like unless you're like 6, you're not gonna get any enjoyment out of that. That is like a very rudimentary game. Yep. Shoots and Ladders, that game fucking sucks. That game blows, okay?
However, I've been fucking stoned out of my fucking mind. I played Shooting Ladders with people. That was pretty fun.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, if I like went over to your house and like just brought Shoots and Ladders, you'd be like so fucking amped. You'd be like, yeah, we're playing Shoots and Ladders. You wouldn't be like, that game sucks. You wouldn't like flip it out of my hand and just be like, fuck you. Like, you bring Shoots and Ladders in this house?
But it's like, I'm like one of those people that appreciates like the bad in things, like, and that makes it like funny to me, or like fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the novelty will wear off extremely quickly once we like get to the end. 15 times you get sent back to the beginning, and you're like, all right. The 4th time this is happening, this is no longer fun.
I mean, yeah, we've talked about the rapper Viper every podcast for the last 50 podcasts, and it's like, let's be honest, if
Shouts to Viper.
Yeah, a complete opposite from last week when I was like ranting about how Viper stole my money. But the only reason we like Viper is because we recognize the bad and the good. But I will say he has legitimate bops, but like that's how everyone gets into Viper. They listen to the bad and they're like, this is actually funny, and then they're like, wait, no, I actually like Viper because he has some good songs.
But it's like his good songs are like memes themselves, though. Like,
yeah,
like Ball or Die is like
they want to see me dead because of my Hops is a legitimately good song. That's the problem. Like that, not the problem, but like that's. The problem is that like people legitimately like just assume all of his songs are bad, but like when you make 1,000 songs a year, one is gonna be good. That's the rule.
I mean, maybe if you're Viper, one might be good, but you know,
maybe yeah. If I made 1,000 songs a year, I think they would all be like absolute nonsense on a MIDI keyboard, just freaking out trying to crank out 3 songs a day. Yeah.
Hey, what happened to your music career?
Well, my music career started in like 6th grade when I just like chopped up speedcore in like I think it was like Sony Soundforge, and like just put it on MySpace. Luckily, like everyone's MySpace got deleted or whatever. Like, do you remember? Like, have you tried? Going to
yeah. I'm like actually pissed about it because it's like MySpace fucked up hard. They had the coolest thing with all the HTML and stuff like that. What I imagine happened is they did that because it was like people made pages that like fucking were like had like horrible like spyware in them and stuff like that.
I could be wrong, but I think they did want to standardize the site, but I think that like in their attempt to standardize it, they like legitimately lost a bunch of user content that they didn't want to delete. Like I think they like accidentally wiped their own servers. I could be wrong about that.
I still have all my music playlists on there from like 50 years ago though. I have like good ass music.
But like I think that like it's both good and bad, and that like I do miss a lot of the stuff that I post. Like, I wish I had access to some of the stuff I posted, especially like cringy old photos. But like, there's also like, I definitely like left when you're like young and you don't realize that like you're leaving a very easily trackable like paper trail of your personal information.
Yes. I guess it was for me, it was different because like by the time you were able to do that, I was already like 14.
Yeah. I mean, I was just like in a situation where I was on MySpace, and like there'd be like, you know how people would answer like those 200 question long like things and put them on their profile. Yeah, I'd just be like, I would like. I
It's
don't.
like what's your mom's maiden name?
Yeah,
what street?
exactly.
What street did you grow up? What's the last 4 digits of your social?
Yeah. So I'm happy that doesn't exist anymore. I mean, that and like half my
wouldn't that be
responses were
funny
totally
as
cringe.
fuck? Like you just like get one of those like 200 chains and just like randomly like 70 questions down, just like throw those kind of things in there.
No, that's actually like a legitimate tactic for like what is it, cyber phishing campaign. So like you ever see on like Twitter, it's like post the 4th picture in your photo library, and like some of the weirder ones that are like post specific, like post the 3rd thing that comes to your head with this question. Like basically all the replies, they like try like that as a password in for like every single app. So like don't participate in any of those trends.
Yeah, I actually have a huge interest in like the psychological aspect of or human element in internet security. Because I used to play
like where every single like breach happens. Like that's
absolutely it's actually terrifying. Like Facebook is like ground zero for that shit. Because like you got to think like how many people's parents like put like all their information on Facebook and stuff like that.
My mom has an issue. Like I don't know about your mom, but my mom has an issue with getting hacked.
Yeah, my mom was hacked on Facebook as well.
Yeah.
And it's like, you go to their Facebook, it has like their phone number, their email on it. Like, oh, like I grew up on this street. Here's the school I went to. Like all this stuff, like you could like message them like on like make a fake account of their kids and message them like, oh, hey, look, I'm Sam. Like, Mom, what's your last? I need your social. I'm doing this.
My grandma is like legitimately smart with this because like this was like maybe like 5 years ago, but like she called me. She's like, you didn't just call me, right? And like apparently like someone like with a generic like 20-something-year-old voice like called her and was like, hello, Grandma, I'm in trouble. Please wire me some money. It was just like,
yeah.
But like, yeah, like I'm happy that my grandma. Shout outs to my grandma.
It's an actual thing. Like,
yeah, no, I mean that's like straight scamming. But I'm just talking about like more just like clicking on a malicious link. Like the people in power right now who are like 70 don't know how to use a computer, and like I don't know.
And they make all the laws based on not knowing a computer.
You would probably like. Maybe not Joe Biden now. Who's an old senator? You would probably have a better chance of getting into Ron Paul's accounts than my accounts.
Yeah, probably. It's like, well, it's like I go to my mom and she got her Facebook hacked, and it's like, all right, we're gonna get your account back. Well, she's like, I didn't set up it. I'm like, all right, what did you set up a backup email? It's like, no. Did you set up a backup password? No. Are you too authenticated? No. It's like, well, then how are they supposed to know that this was your account? I don't know.
Yeah, I've spent many hours with my mom just like trying to get back information.
And it's like Facebook's the worst for it though, because they changed her email and her a phone number attached to it, so it's like there's no way to know because she didn't have and then I found out nothing she has is too authenticated. Like her email isn't, like nothing, and I'm like, you're like, and she's the head of IT at a hospital. Like honestly, she's the systems director of
even like
IT.
Even cybersecurity wise, like I didn't have that many things 2FA until I like got into crypto, because like literally every single thing is like, we require 2FA, and that's like fine, because it's like one of those things where if you only have like one account 2FA, it's actually kind of inconvenient, but like once you have like 85 accounts 2FA, it's like, okay, I have a process for this.
I guess it's different for me because I come from like a background of online games.
That's I do remember MapleStory.
And I come from a background of I used to be a scumbag. I used to hack accounts and stuff like that. There's literally like just list of people's emails and passwords that you would just get out of people and just log in, because most people don't 2FA. So I learned from 2000, like as soon as I was able to 2FA, it's like you have to have authentication on your account and your email. People only do one, because if you can get into the email, then you can message the people about your account and get into it and so on and so forth. People do not authenticate anything, and it's super fucking scary.
When did you stop hacking people? Last week? Week before?
Probably like 2010. Like I made a decent amount of money off of
did
Diablo
you play
2
the
back
drop
in the day.
game in MapleStory? Did you drop items and then pick up my items?
No. I never did shit like that.
Okay.
I
would have had to end
shit.
the call right now because I lost some valuable shit.
I did a lot of that shit in like Diablo 2. I made a large sum of money in that game.
I'm like interested in MapleStory because I got my account back that I haven't used in like 9 years. Like I
Yeah,
went through
I
like this
saw
whole
that.
process. But unrelated, I mean, I really just wanted to say like those cringy whatever, like the 200 question things. I have like a vivid response of like me in like 6th grade answering one of those, and I think the question was like, what is your most like character defining feature? And I just like wrote my chiseled abs, and like that cringe answer will stay with me forever as like a 6th grader writing my chiseled abs on MySpace.
What?
I didn't have chiseled abs. I didn't have any abs, but apparently
Give her like
6th
back,
grade me.
like when you're. That's like shit you do in 6th grade. You like lie to people to like impress them. It's like, oh,
lie
my
about,
dad
like,
works.
obvious stuff. Like you would like people would lie about like their hair color, like some dumb shit. It's like I could see.
Yeah. Or like you're like, my dad works for RuneScape. Like,
Yeah, I mean that's like literally a meme. Like, oh, my uncle works for Nintendo. What's
Did he
what's
really?
your uncle's SSN?
I was like inches from just like memeing and just saying my social security. but,
That's
like,
what's your uncle's. I don't care about yours. Okay,
I was just gonna say mine like instinctively, but it's like I didn't.
do it.
No.
Oh, come on. Just say your social. We're friends here. You,
No.
me, and the internet. Just do it.
No.
Just do it.
No.
Come on. This is peer pressure. Just do it. Come on.
For
No, wait. Don't actually.